so that is fine. Then the dominance of two evidence, remember Young, actually better explains the dominance of two evidence, because the dominance of two evidence just says, or the dominance of two evidence says that you have to affirm and make judgments about animals. The claims of animals are different about unification, so we don't know their true natures. My argument is that the only way to interpret the true nature of the animal is, for example, within a social context, so you can win arguments that animals are able to communicate. My argument is that we should still interpret it within the social context argument still establish a framework. Then, go to part 2, the argument on Hooker. Hooker is not raising for the small judges that cannot be verified by the not being able to live more like heirs. It may be more about the concepts here, reducible to empirical concepts, we live awake, for absolute view about the statements of God, controlled by only a serious intellectual intuition, this theory makes statements of God and verifiable things, intuitive concerns one. First makes false when nothing else is possible by some criteria, which is actually conflicting intuition, to appeal to intuition, is it? Otherwise, this test proposition stability, but in the case of moral judgments, no such criteria can be given. This is reason also for the answer to it allows you to, it says that intuitions are bad, or you can't judge between conflicting intuitions, but the NC allows you to do that because it is within the social context, not an absolute system. Then, also, the ideal theory that says we shall always promote well-being, this is going back to well-being, are not for correcting judgments, is the answer to the framework, remember. So, Charles Mills explained why an ideal theory cannot count for correcting injustice. Ideal theory, you say when society is unjust, is false word, the ideal not to do, problem solve, find yourself in an unjust society, not correcting injustice, so it's ideal from the practical work, which requires the non-ideal, starting reality, that seeks that means we're correcting. Trying to try black expansion, the verb of action is not the same, it's not discriminating against blacks, especially when they're no blacks, discriminating against, far from being indispensable collaboration, non-ideal theory, ideal theory, would be revealed largely useless for the ideal is to guide us in the world without races, may seem to be attractive, one takes the ideal, ignoring the non-ideal history is given wise systemic advantage, and so conflates discrimination, tends to draw racial distinctions, so ideal theory is not supposed to be an end in itself, means to improve our handling of non-ideal matters within the social context, we would better be able to handle non-ideal matters, because it's not that we should always treat everybody equally, it's that why we should try to treat the less privileged group better, which means that even if you went to animals, also like sort of satire, which is better with humans, this explains which is better with humans. Then, on the McMahon arguments. The McMahon arguments also functions as a reason for the answer, because it says we make subjective determinations, but our argument is that subjective determinations from this within a social community, and all subjective determinations would be that you would affirm that this function is often, or you would negate this function is often, because it says we would never go conceptualization of animals, which is there's no incentive for us to give animals rights in the first place. Then go to the potential level. If I put animals with pains and they have no interest, which is very impacts, animals don't feel pain. In fact, animals' responsibility is an answer to the garden and decing evidence. More something is already explained. There's a distinct that supports spoke by agricultural stimulation, the soil, firstly spoke by non-painful stimulation, the movement, the second is equal to the one of the reflex of pencil, the reference not the stimulation, there's stuff in the newborn rat, one of the table temperatures would not be able with these observations of the central nervous systems in church observations in Spain, would be extremely difficult searching for further interpretations. One is more specific to these type of experiment, they don't have it is for first he uses the methodology of the others, or otherwise used for minds to actually analyze the brain. Okay. Okay, ready? Last one. That's one more page.
So what type of social context do we need to evaluate to generate moral claims?
What do you mean?
When you say in your young evidence that we have to use subjective interpretations of morality, we should look
it's not that our interpretations of morality are subjective, it's just like...
But I'm not sure it is your interpretation of morality subjective. You're making a lot of
arguments. Well, no, I agree with yours. I agree with your interpretation about subjectivity. My argument is just that Young says that we cannot evaluate justice as some sort of overarching principle that's like, you are to maximize well-being, or maximize effective well-being, like there are.
So that's fine. Young's saying we apply rules within a given instance, right?
No, it's not that we apply those rules, it's that we create different rules within a given instance to apply that.
So what instance does the NC look to create a rule?
The NC is not about what we ought to do specifically within the moral community, it is about who is included in the moral community.
So the NC is addressing the question
as
to whether or not animals, the animal as we know it, should be included in the moral community. What, correct?
Yeah.
So whether or not is it addressing whether or not they are equals within the community or rather subjects to ourselves within the moral community?
Our argument is that animals would not have rights.
Right. So they would be subjects to humans, correct? They would just be subordinate. Right.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, there's things like humans have to exploit them, right? Like we can still maximize their whatever, we can still prevent suffering, but.
Okay, your Hayes evidence talks about the meaning of morality depends on what is recognized within the social community. Then it talks about how our identities and shared discourse in that language. Why is that true?
Because my argument is that you have a subjective perspective where
we're
different. I guess specifically the word why people take the same thing and say that it's wrong.
That's true. Totally true. Right. But the next argument, which so you've now warranted that we look to the community and such for morality. But the next argument is that only a moral obligation can have meaning within a social context. Why does that apply to the contextualization of rights?
Wait. Why does moral obligation?
Right, your argument just says that moral obligations only have
my argument is that rights are obligations we have to each other.
Where is that defined?
In the Fox 1 evidence.
So Fox evidence is it's a recognition of the rights of the mutual. It just says inclusion within the moral community, right? So why are they saying that? Why is it true that if descriptively animals are not a part of the moral community, that they ought not be a part of the moral community?
Well, the argument is just that whether no, my argument is not that they are not. Our argument is that they ought not.
No. Your evidence says we cannot recognize them because they're not capable of making things.
First of all, animals would not be able to function within a moral community, so we ought to reject them because they.
So yes, your evidence says animals can't be a part of it, right?
No. Let me explain this. My argument is that animals make the moral community useless or make it not function.
Okay, where do you say that?
Okay, so first I extend the reason that says that since they would violate our interests, for example, they would not be able to.
Where was that?
Okay, well first Cohen and Fox explain.
Right, so Cohen is saying why animals can't do certain things.
No, it says that they cannot respond to moral claims, for example.
Why does that generate a prohibition on including
because
in the moral community?
The implications that if you can't generate, if they can't respect our moral claims, then they would be able to violate our rights anytime.
But why does that matter if it's a subjective application of the rule? That seems to me like it's
because then the social community can't function unless there's mutual recognition.
So the question is whether or not the social community can function in terms of the obligation versus prohibition.
Whether or not it makes sense to include them in that community if that community ceases to function. Or if the community is necessary to construct ideal justice or whatever.
So the community is necessary for justice.
Yeah, it's also sufficient. There's a sufficient burden.
I know, I'm not really good.
Yeah.
What suffering card did you read?
What?
Suffering card?
Suffering? Ars and Bizarre. Here. It's in the.
Like how far? Can you just tell me like on your computer how far down it is so I can scroll through it easier?
Yeah. Well, it's in the second page after air.
I don't understand your answer to McMahon's offense.
My argument is that if our experience is subjective, it means it would not give us reasons to include the animals in the bar.
But what does that have to do with the McMahon evidence?
Because McMahon talks about subjectivity.
No, it talks about how death is bad.
Right, it says it's death is bad for the agent. My argument is death is bad for the animal, but that doesn't mean that we recognize the animal's rights, because it's
so why is it offense? No, I'm just asking why it's offense.
Because we would reject animal rights, because they doesn't give us a reason to give them rights.
So what's the word for that?
What?
What's the word for that?
Because if death is bad for us, that doesn't mean we care about the death of others.
But why is it offensive?
What do you mean by that offensive?
It doesn't.
They're not animal rights. You don't care about the rights the animals have.